Good afternoon. My name is Andras Stanislav Alexandrovich, a parliamentarian of the Shcherbinka district of the Tinau district. I have such a question. There was a BRICS meeting recently. How do you see the prospects for a common currency for the BRICS Union countries? And is it also possible to introduce a complete rejection of money, paper, cash in principle? Thank you. Very interesting question, thank you. Indeed, an extremely fruitful summit was held in Kazan 2 weeks earlier. And it was the widest representation, a lot of guests, very important negotiations, and very, very significant results. And for our country, for all countries that are interested in BRICS, the topic of cooperation in the financial and economic sphere, of course, was on the agenda of the summit. Was there a substantive discussion about the creation of a single BRICS currency? No, it wasn't. This is hardly possible at the moment. Currently, it is much more interesting to talk on the BRICS platform about joint new instruments or platforms for making investments from countries with a higher level of development to countries with a lower level of development. Here is the creation and study of the possibility of creating such platforms in the near future. Indeed, this was discussed. This is very important. Of course, not all countries are ready for close cooperation in terms of creating some kind of payment systems. But, on the other hand, all countries somehow understand that in our time, when, for example, the world reserve currency, the US dollar begins to be used as a political tool against us, or when the SWIFT payment system also begins to be used as a tool in attempts to suppress one of the states of the world, in this case the Russian Federation. Everyone understands that this can happen to anyone. And countries, of course, are starting to think more and more that they need backup, alternative payment methods, alternative money transfer systems, and so on and so forth. These conversations, they go on. These conversations are taking place precisely within the framework of the very vector of the irreversible, which we have been talking about. Excuse me, but will we be able to defeat the dollar in principle, in terms of its importance for the world economy? You understand, we are not trying to beat the dollar. And it is not necessary to try to defeat him. The dollar is one of the world's currencies. It is the currency of one of the largest economies in the world. And, unfortunately, this economy of the world, well, probably foolishly made a mistake and began to make weapons out of the dollar. This is their mistake. They just, well, didn't understand the consequences. They didn't understand the consequences. We don't do it against the dollar. We do it for ourselves. We do this for our partners. And that is why we have already, with a number of states, we have already entered into use. We carry out the lion's share of our mutual settlements in local currencies, in national currencies. And this process is also irreversible. It will only expand, and countries, many countries like it more and more. This process is moving around the world. It will go, but not against the dollar. It's just going to be an attempt to create more alternatives, to make more choices. Then reliability is added. Thank you very much, Dmitry Sergeyevich. Russia forward. Naturally. Thank you.